Let's get on Facebook and share the love. Otherwise, people don't remember.
I really wish I had some colored lights in here right now, because you have green. I'd make mine red. Something to mind me. That'd be pretty awesome.
Oh, Rhea just posted. Engage the core.
Engage the core.
Oh, yeah, she does all the workout stuff. Let's see, let's go to Technorama Podcast, see if we have our live stream up there. Yeah, and share that. No caroling on this show. Just nerding out. It thinks nerding is a typo. Good.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. It is.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay, 761. 3, 2, 1. Here goes the audio recording. Technorama episode 761 for December 25th, 2024. The Starship Tannenbaum. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. My name is Chuck Tomasi, and right over there is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
Hey, I'm doing good.
If you are joining us for the first time, welcome aboard. Yep. Merry Christmas. And if you're a returning guest, well, it's also Christmas for you too. Unless you're listening to this in Australia when it's the next day, blah, 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 time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, timey-wimey stuff.
Yep. And we're not even recording this on Christmas.
No.
You want to mess things up. But
that's the other wrinkle in time.
The audio recording is coming out on Wednesday, December 25th. It is Sunday the 22nd as we record this. If you want to join us, hang out on Sunday nights. You're not watching Sunday Night Football or the Golden Globe Awards or something ridiculous. Come hang out with us. We'd love to see you in the chat. We'll give you information on that in a little bit. But how's your week been, Craig?
It's been pretty good. Things are continuing to improve around here. I don't have my Starlink anymore. I got my fiber internet back. Did I tell you?
You've gone from cordless to corded again?
Back to corded, but kind of. It's light waves. But so we got my fiber internet back, and it's working. It's really solid. So I had to cancel my Starlink and put it away. So not using that anymore. Which actually, I will say that it was a really good service. Probably a little more. It's a little more expensive than the fiber and the gigabyte speeds I'm getting. So I went ahead and canceled it. But I have to say the service was solid. Chuck and I were talking about before the show is that before when I had Starlink, it would work really well, but there would be dropouts because there wasn't as many satellites as there is now.
Yeah.
And you can see the big difference. Throughput speeds were solid. Network status was solid. Everything's great, but I'm happy to be back on fiber.
There were a few dropouts as we were recording this and Topicus Trek, but that could have been anything.
Well, I'm doing this, and downstairs, Harrison's gaming, and Kim is watching a movie. We were doing that on Starlink. So if there was a couple of dropouts, I'll take it. That wasn't a bad. That's a pretty good trade-off, I think.
All of that on 25K down.
How did that modem handle all that throughput?
Good compression. Good compression.
Yeah, hope so.
Well, we've got some listener feedback. Should we get into that?
Yes.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh, boy.
Mailman, mail today.
We got a comment already from Bob Larson. He says, Merry Christmas, Chuck, to you and your family. Same to you, Bob, and to all the viewers and listeners out there. We wish you Happy holidays. All right. First one we got from the email bag is from longtime listener Tom Pose. I think he was listening back when his daughter Julie was like 6 years old. Now she's got a career of her own. He says,
Yeah.
note about the quasar. If it was closer to Earth, we were talking about, if there was a quasar that was, say, 10 light years away and as big and bright as the sun in the sky
Right.
and having night and what time of year, that kind of thing. He said, if it were closer to Earth and then as bright as the sun, how would we not have night anymore? What would be the effect on things on Earth? Says, don't forget about the story from Isaac Asimov, Nightfall, where 6 suns illuminate the surface of the planet all the time, except every 2,000 years. Night falls and people go mad because the stars come out. Yikes.
Wait a minute.
The story was
They
written
had-
a long
they had-
time ago and is probably the start of Asimov's writing career.
I was gonna say people in Alaska have that happen to them all the time. They go through
Not every
periods of where
2,000 years.
no, but I mean, it's always sunny for a little while, or it's always dark for a while, right?
Yeah, that's called summer and winter.
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying that it's literally dark and light and dark is what I'm trying to get at. So,
That's called days around here.
yeah.
You know what I figured out? I mentioned this on my Dog Days podcast, but I know not everybody here listens to that. Some do, so you may have already heard this. I was looking at the sunrise and sunset times because it's the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yep.
And wouldn't you think that once you get past the solstice, the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice, that sunrise would begin getting earlier and sunset would begin getting later. So your day starts to lengthen. That's not the way it works. According to, what was it, Earth Sky or timeanddate.com, one of those websites, I was looking it up. And I can also prove this from observations, is the sunset starts setting a little later, but the sunrise for another couple of weeks is still getting later. So the days are getting longer, but it's almost like there's this asymmetry between when the sunset starts turning the corner and when the sunrise starts turning the corner. Because it's not going to turn the corner. The sunrise is still getting later for another couple of weeks, and I cannot figure out why. Even if you thought, well, maybe it's because you're on the east end of a time zone or the west end of the time zone, that wouldn't make the sun rise later after the solstice. I can't figure this out. I want to talk to somebody who can explain this. It has to do with something physical. Just because I don't understand it doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah. I haven't really, I know we just had the winter solstice. I don't remember. I know after 7, around 7:30, I think was the sunrise. And I haven't really noticed anything yet, but usually it's almost about a minute a day when it starts to change, but I haven't noticed anything yet. So I'll have to.
Well, you got to know where we are
remind
on the sine wave too, with the shortest day of the year. We're down at that bottom. You don't have a whole lot of vertical change, which is the length of the day, for
Right.
quite some time, for like a month on each side of the solstice. There's not a really significant notice. Your difference in day length, depending on your latitude, of course. I mean, if you're in Iceland, it happens really quickly. I remember we were there in August and there was like 6 minutes more of day every day, or
6.
6
Yeah.
minutes less. And here in August and September, you get a delta of about 1 minute. So,
Right. Exactly.
it's significant where you are, but you're at the bottom of that curve, or in the summertime, you're at the top of that curve for the length of the day. And it doesn't change a whole lot until you start getting into those equinox months. And then you're just cruising at it's all, I can explain it to you in calculus with ascending curves and descending curves and blah, blah, blah.
There you go. So what are we at, the 25th? Yeah. So I was looking at I messed up. I opened up the sunrise and sunset table for, it says Charlotte, North Carolina. That's close
Yeah.
enough.
All right.
This is from 2003. Oh no. So yeah, it was starting at, like, today is tomorrow it'll be 7:29.
Mhm.
Tomorrow it says 7:30. towards the New Year at 7:31.
Right.
So yeah,
Why is the
you're right.
sunrise getting later after the solstice?
I don't know.
Isn't that bizarre?
That is weird.
That goes against, total logic. You think that once the Earth passes that point in the orbit and you're not tilted away quite as much, it
Mhm.
should be, evening up both ends equally, but it doesn't.
Hmm.
All right,
Makes
let's
the
get on to our
mind the
next.
mind boggles. The
Yeah,
mind
I
boggles.
could get into a whole nother discussion here, but let's get on to our next email. We talked about if you were on a deserted island, what would you take, the technology and whatnot. And I believe this email from listener Kyle is in response to that. He says, a playlist for 80s TV and movies. I kind of think you could just make a checklist from Ready Player One and cover most everything you need to know
Yeah,
about the
pretty
80s.
much. Yep.
The funny thing about reading a lot of lit RPG is now I have a confirmation of what I thought was widely popular when I was a kid. So, in no particular order, he says Airwolf,
Mhm.
Knight Rider,
Yep.
Transformers, Voltron.
Okay, that's solid.
Certain shows are popular only because they get used in memes. You don't need to watch the show / play the game. Just look up knowyourmeme.com. The Simpsons, My Little Pony, Care Bears, The Smurfs, Dragon Ball, Warcraft, Lord of the Rings. Movies only, not the books.
Why not the books?
Certain shows, I guess.
Lord of the Rings is not well, there's a show. Okay.
Interesting stuff. Thank you very much for the feedback.
Yeah.
We also have our question of the week
Yeah.
from Facebook. Says, how has technology influenced or changed Christmas traditions? So I'm starting at the Technorama page with Lone Guy's Night, who says, apparently radar can track Santa now.
Yeah. Let me get all comments here.
Wasn't the
Yeah.
case.
Wait a minute. It always been able to do that. NORAD would do that, right?
On the internet, you could track them.
Oh, the internet. True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when
Okay.
I was a kid, you did it. They didn't have such things.
We heard about it on the radio. Oh, Santa's been spotted.
Yeah, he
remember
was
that.
at the mall 2 hours ago.
No, I remember listening to the radio and they would do Santa updates. Weber Baker says my electric meter is no longer makes a whirring noise because Christmas lights are LEDs and don't need as much electricity. Yes.
I agree. That was my first thought too, is the
And-
LED bulbs.
And LEDs are safer than bulbs as far as lights go on a Christmas tree.
Theoretically, they last longer. Apparently,
Mhm.
Kyle says, apparently physical gift cards are easily compromised while left unattended in a store. Gift cards delivered by email now are the only safe way to go. Steve Lennon replies back, I sent around 30 this year, received 5 cards and 1 amigurumi. Not sure I know what that
Is that some kind of Bitcoin?
I thought it was a Japanese cartoon, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
All-time low on cards record when it comes to amiguris. I ordered that last night. It was delicious.
Great. I was going to look up real quick. What's an origami? And it says origami basics for beginners. It's a video. And I'm like, okay, we'll watch that later.
Mhm.
um,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Steve Weshy says the new style of Christmas lights displays are everywhere, or where everything, is synced is very different from the traditional days. Yeah, I would say so. They could do a lot of stuff with those little. Well, we used to watch Christmas light fights. I don't think they do them anymore. And they would have those. It almost looked like a test tube, but it was LEDs. They were like pixel lights,
Mhm.
and they had different colors in there. So you can do all kinds of synchronization and stuff. You would hang them on your house just like a string of lights, but they're bright, and of course you can pick any color you want for each one. It's kind of neat.
I think it is interesting that they have standards for that stuff now too. That
Standards,
you can use a number of software applications to program your Christmas light display and
Oh yeah,
the music and download libraries. So even if you're not proficient with it, you could say, here's the reindeer module I've got, or here's the snowflakes I've got on my roof. And you
Mhm.
say this one, this one, and this one, and go download me the library of routines that I can then paste together. So you can do things a lot faster
Hey,
than you could, and you don't have to
well,
spend weeks doing this stuff.
well, now you can just say, "Hey, ChatGPT, make me a routine for my lights."
And you get Santa with 6 fingers.
Right. That's right.
All right, Gary
All right.
Lindros says Christmas trees don't burn up when with LED lights.
There you go. I think I did see his comment. That's what made me think about
We had
that.
the outdoor bulbs when I was a kid. They must have been like 2 inches or about 8 centimeters long, big,
Mhm.
hot things, which was nice if you're in the snow, cleared the snow off the roof.
Yeah. Oh, so you put Christmas lights on your house?
Yeah, they were sort of
Okay.
hanging just under the eaves.
I've never done that on my house.
You've
I've
never done outdoor Christmas lights?
uh-uh. You mean
Oh,
exterior illumination? No, I have not.
yes.
Nope.
Oh, we
I
used to
should
do
have.
those, and then we had the mini LED, the mini, not LEDs, but the mini lights
Well, all
on
right.
our
So,
house in Appleton for a number of years.
okay. So I have a question for you.
Hmm.
When you watch Christmas Vacation and he's up on the roof, stapling in all the lights,
No,
that makes me cringe. I'm thinking, look at all the holes he's putting in the
it was a movie.
shingles.
It was a movie,
I
and it
know.
was for comedic effect.
Well, yeah, but how do you put them on your house?
You clip them just under the shingles, or you hang hooks
Clips.
or
Okay.
clips on the eaves.
He's stapling them, and it makes me cringe every time. I'm like,
Yep.
oh no, you're gonna need a new roof here soon.
I found a T-shirt, when he's bawling out his boss and calling him names, and he just goes
Right.
through that litany of name after name after name. I found a
Yeah.
T-shirt that has all that. It's funny because earlier this month, when my coworker was here for our work webinar, she said, "This is my favorite movie." So we watched the whole thing, and she says, "I'm close to having that whole thing memorized." And I thought I should get her the
Yeah.
T-shirt. I should get her the T-shirt.
I did. I watched. Or no, I saw years ago a behind the scenes picture, and the
Mhm.
cast. They're all watching him go through his tirade, right? While he's in his looks like his dining room or something.
Yeah.
And so the behind the scenes picture was the front of the cast, and they all had those words on like
Oh,
little
so hey,
boards.
remember him?
Yeah, because he kind of and you went through them all.
All right, let's
Anyway,
keep going with some of these. Um,
so Melissa Bartell says I can decide between color or white lights. I think she means I can't. I can decide between colored and white lights, steady or blinking. Oh, you can touch them at the touch of a button. No more hunting for one light when with a special fuse that makes things blink. And I really dig the plug system. My mom is allergic to pine, so all our trees are artificial. That's fine. I grew up in an artificial tree.
I grew up with real ones, but man, are they messy.
They
They
are.
are messy. We had a
We
few when we were in Appleton just so the kids could experience them. But,
somebody in our family gave us an artificial one, and mom and dad one time were like, "Hey, let's go get a real tree." And we're like, "No, we got to use the same tree." And we used that same tree till it was dead. I mean, it was it almost had wire branches with green stuff.
is
And
Charlie Brown artificial Christmas tree?
yeah, it started off kind of big and then it kind of fell apart. But I actually loved putting it together. It had little, almost like little wreath rings you'd put on the middle between the branches on the trunk part. Yeah, it was great.
I bought one when Donna and I were engaged. We had a date set, and this was like 2 months before we got married. Someone was having a garage sale in August, and I
Right.
spotted a Christmas tree, and my dad and I had to get to work for our scuba charter business. So we're on our way out and about a half a block from our house. Like, stop, Dad! Stop! 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 Someone's got a Christmas tree for sale, and we're gonna need one. So I
Right.
bought it. There was the tree, all white lights and red ribbons for $20.
Oh
And
wow.
I came home and I said, "Honey, I got something." And I said, I told the lady, "Hold this because we'll be back later today." Um, and she held it. I paid her so she could put a sold sign on it and whatnot. But it was a great way to attract customers. I said, I got something for us, and told Donna what I got. And she said, "I got something for us too." She had gone to a bridal show and won a $500 gift certificate at the furniture store, which got us our dining room set
Oh,
that we had
nice.
for about 20 years. So like, hey, this was a double win day,
Yeah.
but I think yours wins more.
Right.
But
That's right.
we had
Yeah.
that tree for, I want to say, I think we replaced it in Appleton before we moved here. And then we got one with the LEDs built into the tree. But now there's a like a 25% of the tree that doesn't light up. So we have to augment it with regular lights. It's really
Turn it
sad.
around in the corner. Put that in the corner.
We need to go get another tree. But every time we do, Donna goes, no, we'll just keep using this one. It's such a waste to throw it out. Like,
Yeah.
they're going to be on
That's
sale
funny.
real soon now.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about, I mean, I miss that old Christmas tree. We had the original box with it. It was probably 30 years old when we got it. I don't know.
The
It's
red
great.
ribbons, I remember the red ribbons had kind of this flux on one side to make it look kind of velvety,
Yeah.
and that wore off after a number of years, so you're just kinda dealing with this
We got
ribbon
a
that
matte
wasn't.
tree.
Yeah, it and the tree lost a lot of its needle, the branches began to rust because there was that twisted wire thing,
Yeah.
and my younger brother, when he came over maybe 2 or 3 years after we were married, we were putting the angel on top, and he put one of these red ribbons on. And this ribbon is wider than the angel's dress and hangs down almost as far.
Right.
But you know what? It was on there forever. It became a tradition. I tried taking it off once and like the angel just doesn't look right. Well, years later, we had to replace the old angel that came with the tree from 1988.
Hmm.
We replaced it. And I said, it doesn't look right. So we went out and got new ribbons, new red ribbons, and put one on the angel and the rest of the tree. So it's sort of like certain
There you
traditions are goofy AF, but
go.
they're
Right.
fun too.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
let's.
Bob. Hey,
Yeah,
wait a minute. All right. So we're
20
talking
minutes
about
in,
Christmas
we haven't
trees.
gotten to the feedback yet.
It's all right. Hey, this is Christmas episode.
Yeah, it is.
So, all right. So Kim and I have been taking Harrison out to get trees for probably 10 to 12 years or more. I'm trying to remember exactly how long, but ever since he was a baby, we go out to Penland Tree Farm, which is right outside of Rock Hill, and cut down a tree. Well, one year I got it in the house and got it mounted up. Everything was great, except for one day. I looked up at the ceiling. I said, "What is that?" And it was tiny. And I said, "It looks like a praying mantis." And I got closer to it and went, "It is." Then I looked around and went, "Holy crap, they're everywhere." A nest must have,
Oh,
I had to get the vacuum out because there were so many of them. I, it, I've never seen that many praying mantises in one place.
no,
They're
I've
all
only
little,
seen them onesie twosie around here.
it looked like little origami,
Yep.
pieces everywhere. There were thousands of them. I had to vacuum them up and throw them out. Wow.
What else do we got? Sheila D says preset Christmas lights that can change and flash to the beat of the music and timers. Also,
Hmm.
the crackling fireplace on the TV set sets a festive mood. 4K fireplace, very nice.
Yeah. Yep. Steve London says usually we had some holy slots for the TV over Christmas, but on demand fixed that. Before on demand, Sweden stood still at 1500 or 3 p.m. on the 24th. The shopping has completely changed. No more Christmas shopping in stores for me. Makes for a nicer and better man over the holidays. There you go.
Nicer man over the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of things I might go out and get, but normally it's just Amazon or something.
Well, Lisa and Grant just came over to visit tonight, and they said we were at Target. It's a zoo, and the shelves are picked over.
Yeah,
Who, who's waiting till the last minute?
I know.
Like,
Well,
dude,
that would
you've got 6 months of Amazon you can use.
well for a long time. Me personally, not Kim, because she would have everything already done, but I enjoyed getting out Christmas Eve and see the bustle and everything, and everybody busy trying to finish up. I thought it was kind of fun. Kind of got me in the mood,
I
except
went out
for
a couple times just because my work schedule wouldn't permit me. This is like back in the college days,
yeah,
and I just want to see if I could find some good last minute deals.
yeah, that's all right. There's been a couple times. Well, I could tell this whole story. I might tell it on the Patreon show. But I went out with my friend on Christmas Eve in my Volkswagen Beetle, my 72 or 71 Super Beetle, and the accelerator cable broke in the mall parking lot, so I couldn't go to the next store I needed to go to. I had to rig my car
Wow.
so we could drive it on the road. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Where do you find an accelerator cable on Christmas Eve?
the 24-hour automotive store. All right, one last one. Lisa says, I listen to Christmas music on Spotify instead of 8-track, cassette tapes, or CDs. Forgot vinyl. That was
Yeah.
where I listened to a lot of it as a kid. And I think I have some of those old albums. I was
Do you?
cataloging my vinyl. I don't remember
Oh.
buying any Christmas albums, but this looks like something I might have listened to as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go to. I went to uh, um, one of the thrift stores, and you always look at their records. There's a bunch
Yep.
of always
Or
old
used
records.
bookstores.
Yeah, well, there's always old records that I don't know who these people are, and they sing. It's like crooners or something, kind of things. And every once in a while, you'll see some good Christmas albums or something like that. So I just thought it was fun. I'm like, who is Steve? Whatever, and he's like got a microphone. I'm like, somebody's grandmother passed away. I don't know who this is.
What was it? Edie Gourmet and Steve something. Anyway. Thank you for the feedback and the memories. Sorry that took so long.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
If we got to skip an article, so be it.
Ding, 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 ding.
Where's the ukulele?
Later. On this day in history for December 25th, 2024, it's the 360th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are only 6 days left. No more time for another Technorama episode. This is the last one you get for the year.
That's right.
It was on this date in 336 that the first documented sign of Christmas celebration in Rome.
The first documented sign. Well, okay. It was also on this date in 1066 that William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, was crowned King of England. Wow, that's a lot of titles there at Westminster Abbey in London.
Also on December 25th, 1492, the carrack Santa Maria, commanded by Christopher Columbus, ran onto a reef off Haiti due to an improper watch. I was opening my presents, sir.
I couldn't get a GPS lock.
I couldn't get a GPS.
It was also 300 years ago today that J.S. Bach led the first performance of Galbe Cs du Jesu Christ. I'm sorry, is that Jesu Christ?
Jesu.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, BV 91 in Leipzig, based in Luther's 1524 Christmas hymn.
I think my knees got skinned tripping over that one.
Me too.
On December 25th, 1758, Halley's Comet was sighted by Johann Georg Paulich, confirming Edmund Halley's prediction of its passage. This was the first time a passage was predicted ahead of time and said, hey, it's going to show up here. And it did, right on schedule.
Wow. That's awesome. December 25th, 1946, the first European self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction was initiated within the Soviet Union's F1 nuclear reactor.
Wow, they were quick to get that up and running.
Yeah.
Also on December 25th, 1968, Apollo 8 performed the first successful trans-Earth injection, or TEI. That's not that techno music that you hear at Christmas. That's TSO. They did a TEI maneuver, sending the crew and spacecraft on a trajectory back to Earth from lunar orbit.
I think you meant the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That's what I said. Not the trans-Earth injection.
Right. It was also on this date in 2003 that the ill-fated Beagle 2 probe released from the Mars Express spacecraft on December 19th stopped transmitting shortly before its scheduled landing.
Oops.
It's unscheduled landing.
Right.
Yeah.
The Cassini orbiter released the Huygens probe, which successfully landed on Saturn's moon Titan on January 14th, 2005. It was released on this date in 2004. It's like, see ya, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what this said, January 14th, 2005, on this date in 2004.
And got parsed and repatched together differently.
Right. And 3 years ago today, the James Webb Space Telescope was launched and has been giving us some spectacular pictures ever since.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out in the state to English physicist and mathematician Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, born on the state in 1642.
And born December 25th, 1652, Scottish physician, anatomist, and scholar Archibald Pitcairn.
Pitcairn. There's the
Yeah, that too.
Pitcairn Islands, which is where the Mutiny on the Bounty families live.
Don't
German
pick on him.
physician and scholar Johann Jakob Rieske was born on this date in 1760.
An American nurse and humanitarian, founded the American Red Cross. Claire Barton was born 203 years ago today.
Born December 25th, 1876, German chemist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Adolf Otto Reinhold Windhaus.
There you go. American publisher and philanthropist, co-founded Reader's Digest. Leila Bell Wallace was born on this date in 1889.
Man, I'm getting all the hard ones. Well, maybe not anymore. American actor Humphrey Bogart was born 125 years ago today. Play it again,
And-
Sam.
Yeah, and Gerhard Hertzberg, German-Canadian physicist and chemist, Nobel Prize laureate, was born on that same day in 1904.
We have another Nobel Prize laureate born on
Yes.
this date in 1906. 2 years later, the German physicist and academic Ernst Ruska.
And American singer-songwriter and band leader Cab Calloway, born on this date in 1907.
Folks, let me tell you about Minnie the Moocher.
That's right. I know.
She was
I think about Blues Brothers every time.
or
Yeah,
Aladdin.
name.
Arseny Mironov, the Russian scientist, engineer, pilot, and oldest active researcher in aircraft aerodynamics and flight testing, was born on this date in 1917.
An American screenwriter and producer, created The Twilight Zone. Rod Serling was born 100 years ago today.
Imagine, if you will, a podcast with two idiots telling stories and pronouncing names badly.
Yeah,
This
everybody's nightmare,
technology.
The Twilight Zone.
Michael P. Anderson, American colonel, pilot, and astronaut, was born on the same date in 1959.
And last but not least, also turning 53 today, is Canadian educator and politician, 23rd Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau.
Hooray! Birthdays this week include the 25th, Joel Parks, 29th, C. Mann, and Shadowbird's mom, and Mr. Sim are on the 31st. That's the
There
way
you
it
go.
was on this day in history for December 25th, 2024. If you want to be on the birthday calendar, like some of these people are, whatever that means,
Whoa.
I purposely did not put that on repeat, and I did
I
not
guess
hit any buttons. Something is whack.
You got somebody speaking to you in the chat there. Susan
Where?
Corbin.
Susan, she's one of our audio people from church.
Oh, okay.
She usually says hello from the sound booth.
Yeah. Right.
And I write back, hello from row 4.
Row 4.
All righty. You can go to chuckchat.com/birthday. We'd love to give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. If it's your birthday this week and you didn't make it on the calendar, we wish you all the best. Happy birthday and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Last one for the year, Craig.
I know.
We haven't discussed
Hey.
whether we're doing one next Sunday or not to get you kicked off for the new year.
Oh, no, I won't be here.
Oh, that's right. You got some
Yeah.
travels coming up.
Yep.
All right. Everybody go raid Craig's house now that we
Wait.
know he's gone.
What?
Let's pick a random
Aren't
button.
you gonna say good news, everyone?
Oh, I just said that for Fry's benefit.
We've got some good news, or actually some good startling news I should have probably touched off with. Futurism.com says Google says it appears to have accessed parallel universes. Well, yes, no, kind of so. It back in 1997, excuse me, there was a prediction made by David Deutsch, who laid out this multiverse hypothesis that said if you're doing quantum computing, because of the way that the quantum universe works, you're actually doing the computer cycles through the multiverse. And it's like, well, nobody's really proven or disproven that. So it could be, it could not be. Seems that Google has come out with a 100 qubit or quantum bit chip called Willow that did this procedure in 5 minutes that they claim, would have taken today's fastest supercomputers 10 to the 25th or 10 septillion years, which is way longer than the universe has even been around or will be around.
Yeah.
So it's they if you dig down further, they go, well, yeah, maybe. In 2023, IBM researchers argued that the problem Google's quantum computer was instructed to solve in the 2019 could be, quote, performed on a classical system in 2.5 days with far greater fidelity. What they did is they came up with, it's not even a useful exercise. The particular calculation in question is to produce a random distribution. That's a quote that German physicist and science communicator Sabine Hossenfelder tweeted in response to it. The result of this calculation has no practical use. it's just an exercise to make your computer work and see how long it will take. It's a bit
like the Hello World
of quantum computing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what was it? Testing the color fidelity with that old Playboy picture lady, whatever it was. There's a classic exercise for graphics designers and graphics.
I think I saw that on my Commodore 64.
When you were 10 years old and went,
I remember somebody gave me a copy of Strip Poker.
Right.
Commodore. Wow. Look at there. I got to win this hand. And people walk in the room. Chuck, why you got your clothes off?
And then you hit the boss key. I'm just doing spreadsheets over here.
Oh boy.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
This one's kind of interesting. NPR reports that a pair of satellites will be launched. I didn't get a launch date off of this. Did you? Of when they're going to go up? The article. I didn't see the proposed launch date, but what they're going to do is study the sun's corona. Now, we can only see the corona here on Earth naturally when we have a total solar eclipse. When the moon passes in front of the sun, you see the corona. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's pretty cool. The only time you want to look at a sun is during a total solar eclipse.
Hey, by the way, to answer your question, it says that the first results for the mission will be available around 4 months after the spacecraft separate and fly in sync in early 2025. So it may be already moving in place.
Okay. Well, what they're going to do is send up a 2-piece unit. So one piece is going to be what blocks out the sun, what normally the moon would do.
Yeah.
And the other piece will be the sensor, and they will be about 500 feet apart. And I did a little math to find out how big that blocking piece would have to be. Because, you can pretty much block out the sun with your thumb here, and that's at arm's length. So knowing that the sun is roughly a half a degree in the sky, and the distance is 500, I went, oh, high school trigonometry. I can solve this.
Oh, boy.
It's the height would have to be about 4.5 feet.
Okay.
To block out the sun at 500 feet. So if you had a big disc and you walked 500 feet away from somebody and held it up, you could block out the sun.
That's not bad. I mean, would you say about 4 feet or 4 foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
So
it'd be easy to get in space.
The advantage of this, obviously, is instead of only studying the sun's corona for a few minutes or using a 1-piece unit, like stick this on the end of your telescope, that should work, which doesn't give you as good of clarity, definition, fidelity, whatever you want to call it. This gets outside the atmosphere, so you don't have to worry about that. And you can study for hours and hours.
Yeah. You probably keep your artificial eclipse for a long time. Yeah.
What they want to know is why is the surface of the sun like 10,000 degrees?
Yep.
But the corona is much, much hotter, like 2 million degrees Fahrenheit. It's not a trivial amount. It's ridiculous. So what is it? And I'm not sure if they're talking about, just all kinds of radiation or thermally or what are they measuring this with? It's an interesting experiment. So
Mhm.
good question. Learning
Yeah.
comes from asking questions. Like that thing about the sunrise and sunset that I want to know about. Still trying to figure out big glaciers, how they moved. Okay,
Slowly.
final article we have. I'm not going to get too far into this, but we talked about quantum computing before. The they want to start networking these quantum computers together. How are you going to move this information along? It's not so simple as saying, "Oh, just send it over the internet," because there's all kinds of stuff on the internet right now. And I like the analogy they made. They said, uh, your quantum data, if you were to transfer this, and this gets into superposition and entanglement and all kinds of other things. But the analogy
Yeah.
they said was, uh, imagine a rickety old bicycle trying to go down a highway that is full of high semi trucks and whatnot going by. Like,
Right.
oh, okay. So what they did basically is used a different frequency, made a bike lane in a way to say, all right, if you're going to be sending your quantum information, you go over here on this different frequency and you stay out of the way of the trucks. And it went swimmingly. I think they said on a 38-kilometer cable, and they want to try it over even longer distances. So now we have quantum computing happening, and we can start building some networks. And Skynet will be live in less.
Yay!
I
I welcome our robot overlords.
That's right.
Welcome our new robot overlords.
All right. Quick shout out to the chat room. We had Bob earlier. We got Susan. We got somebody else watching right now. Could be Susan. If you want to hang out with us on Sunday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time is when you can find us here most Sundays. Of course, Craig will be traveling, and we got one of us is still working. The other,
Yeah,
travel.
not the first Sunday in the first of the year, but I think shortly after that, that
We'll
next
get
week
back
we'll
at
have
Yep.
we'll get there.
Yep. Which brings us right into our next section where we thank the patrons, the people who hang out with us financially. These are the hardcore people like Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dan D. Mancoyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble. Maybe we should call him John Ignoble, since he's not the famous John Noble. Yorga Shrowen, Crazy Joe, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. Thank you all for making 2024 possible. We
Yes.
came in on budget. We're going into 2025 with a nice little nest egg in the. All right, we'll stop the music.
More like a robin's egg, but
Bank account, yeah. I didn't say what size the egg is.
yeah.
Hummingbird size. But just in case something catastrophically breaks and whatnot, we've got it covered. If Craig needs a new set of headphones, we can handle that too. But we were able to take on the punch of StreamYard raising its rates by 80%. Thanks to all of you. We got
Hey, I love the service, but that's a big jump.
we get our t-shirts out. Yeah. And they enabled some things that we hadn't had before at the price tier we were at. But it's still valuable, and we enjoy doing the video component of this for you. I know a number of you watch that, and thank you very much for that. Patreon.com/Technorama podcast. You get a bonus episode. You get a postcard when we're traveling, which is coming up.
Yep.
We've got t-shirts for the next tier up. So look forward to that. We've banked a few ideas for the 2025 t-shirt in case we can't think of anything.
Right.
We're usually inspired at the last minute. Go, I know what we need, and that's what makes the cut. Not a real thought out process. I mean, we do a number of ideas and designs. Anyway, on to what we've been watching. We are getting close to this, so we're gonna have to
speed it up.
we have to do our condensed version.
All right, fine.
In haiku form.
I go for. Oh boy.
Would you rather have a limerick? There
Hmm.
once was a show on Netflix
There once was a man from Venus who. No, I'll stop there.
who fell and hurt his weenus.
All right, keep going. Let's just go.
All right.
All right, you go
I'm going to
first.
get through this first one because you mentioned this last week. I watched Carry On
Yeah.
on Netflix. Good action flick. Enjoyed it very much. So if you haven't seen it and you like not really Die Hard style things, it's not
It was
quite
in that vein.
top, but
It was in that vein. Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was in that vein, sort of. Yeah.
you know, and it's not theme. Well, it actually did take place around Christmas. Now that I think about it,
Yep.
it did because they were ramping up for a busy Christmas travel, which added to the tension of, hey, if we have to stop the security line or shut down the airport for blah blah blah. It also made you think about, could this actually happen? That was the scariest part of the whole thing. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
So that was a also watched new this week. First one up for me was Untold, which is the murder of Air McNair. Steve McNair, who used to play for the Tennessee Titans. They kind of went through his history. This is like an hour-long documentary. Very sad story, but very insightful if you didn't know the story or you didn't know who the person was. It was I've been caught up with a lot of true crime shows, including another one that's I did not put on the list because I thought that was pretty sad. Uh, not sad as in emotionally sad, but sad as in dumb story sad.
Oh, yeah.
But this one, Untold, the murder of Air McNair, I liked it. I thought it was a good spending time. Watched another one called La Palma, which is a drama about this Norwegian family that goes on vacation to one of the Canary Islands. And the island is about to erupt. It erupted last in 1949. And situation is that if it erupts again, it stands a good chance of having a massive landslide where something like 40% of the island slides into the ocean, causes a large tsunami. But you've also got the man who cried wolf about 3 years ago and said, hey, we have to evacuate. So they did evacuate and it cost billions of dollars and nothing happened. So he's really reluctant to pull the trigger. The politician is like, oh, God, I can't, not again. This would ruin us, and nearly cost her career before. So you've got a lot of people with trepidation, but you also have the scientists going, no, this is happening now. You have to do.
I thought you were gonna say he blew the whistle. Everybody left, and then they pulled off a big bank heist while nobody was there.
No. The effects are okay. I mean, obviously you can't. There was a lot of footage used from other floods and other volcanoes, but the stuff that they did on screen was okay. The part that I had the most trouble with is they're on this very tropical island. I mean, the Canary Islands are just off the coast of Africa, south of Spain. And there's palm trees and it's beautiful sand beaches. And they say, oh, we have to go check our instruments up on the mountain. And they're driving up and it's these tall pine forests. Good. No. No, I'm sorry.
Right.
You know, a pine forest on top of a tropical mountain. When you go up, if you go up to Haleakala on Maui, no, it's not right. But it was a bit contrived, a little predictable, but not bad. Another short one that I watched, Wham! Last Christmas Unwrapped.
Let me guess what that's about.
It's about the Christmas song that George Michael wrote in 1984. And his goal was to have a #1 Christmas song because that was great. And everybody said, this is amazing. And as soon as he got back from filming the video on that in Saas-Fee in the Swiss Alps, he went right into the studio to film Do They Know It's Christmas, which became the #1. So he kind of shot himself in the foot. But in 2023, it finally made #1 on downloads, or not downloads, but streaming. So 39 years later, it did get a #1 title. And it was just kind of fun watching the reunion of Andrew Ridgeley and the backup singers and the producers and the people that were in the video. And they all sort of reenacted. They went back to the same Swiss chalet where they filmed the video and had fun with it while they were telling stories about George Michael. And you got some insights to him. Just wonderful, wonderful story. The final one, you remember Hidden Figures, about the ladies who did the calculations?
Absolutely. Yeah, wonderful film.
This movie on Netflix, The 6888, highly recommended, but bring a box of Kleenex. It's emotional at points. Great World War II story about these women who were the women's Army Corps. They were WACs, and they were the black WACs, and they couldn't get assigned until um, one of the generals had this problem. Uh, Actually, there was this lady who came to Washington D.C. She says, "I haven't heard from my son. He hasn't written me, and we don't know if he's alive or dead or what's going on. Communications with the mail is pretty much stopped with all our soldiers." She was at Washington D.C. standing outside the White House for a number of days to talk to Eleanor Roosevelt. And Eleanor comes out and says, "What's the problem?" And she tells her a problem. She goes to her husband. She says, "This has to be solved." And Roosevelt says, "This has to be solved." So he tells the chief in charge of the army, he goes, "This has to be solved." And it's played by, I can't remember his name. Norris, the guy who plays Schrader on Breaking Bad, right?
Oh,
He plays this
oh
racist,
yeah.
bigoted general who wants this to fail. Well, you also have another loss of name, famous lady in history. She was like the leader of the Black women's movement, and she had the president's ear. And she says, "You have a talented group of women who are ready to serve." And she basically pushed the general into assigning them because they wanted to be deployed. She's ready to go.
Yeah.
Great story of accomplishment. They get shipped over. They have this monumental task. They go, "Oh, we can sort out the mail," until they figure out there's like 90 million pieces of mail in airport hangars, just bags and bags. There's a 9-month backlog, and they have 6 months to take care of it. Great story. If you're looking at great documentaries, The 6888 on Netflix, highly recommend it.
Okay. Oh, by the way, it was Dean Norris.
Dean
who,
Norris, that's what it was.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The inventor or the creator of Schrader Brow.
Yeah.
So
He was also on, what did I watch recently? He was on as well. I saw him on something else. He just never turns out to be a really good guy. Breaking Bad was probably his best.
dude, he was on Carry On.
Yes, he was on Carry On. That's it. He was like the TSA manager for
I wouldn't
that
say he was
era.
a bad
Yep.
I wouldn't say he was a bad guy, just boss.
Boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, he's not a nice guy.
Right. So no surprise, we're kind of going through the Christmas classics right now. We watched Christmas Vacation the other day.
Yep.
Kim and myself's favorite movie. One of my favorites is Christmas with the Cranks. That's just a fun movie, I think. I like the message at the end. You've seen that, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's got Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis in it. It's fun. It's a feel good movie. It's the kind of economy. So I even read last year. I didn't dawn on me, but that was actually a book. So I read the book. It's called Skipping Christmas from John Grisham, and I read it.
Okay.
And I could remember visualizing all the scenes that belonged in the movie. And of course, there's a lot of other ones that are not in there, some funnier than others. But it was a fun read to read Skipping Christmas. The other one, it's still in progress. Harrison and I are slowly watching it, as Star Wars Skeleton
because it
Crew.
comes out once a week. Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen episode 4 yet. That's on my to do this weekend.
Yeah, we were down 2 episodes, so we saw one other day, and we got one left over, I believe. And I really do like that show. I think it's done really well.
I'm feeling like
Visually,
I want to wait until the end and just catch up all at once.
yeah. Well, I will say, I know story and characters far more important, but man, does that show look good?
Yeah.
The visuals are awesome. I think it's great. It's great. So it's worth watching for sure.
All right. I have a whole bunch more in the Geek Library. A couple of special mentions. One is The Revenge of the Bent Pyramid. You're familiar with the pyramid that has like the change in angle? Everybody calls it a failure. Like, oh, they were building it and then they had to change their mind. There's one scientist that says, I don't think you're looking at this right. If you look at the different courses and the patches and
is that the one that Dr. Seuss drew? Kind of goes,
no. It started out at like 54 degrees and then it tipped
Yeah.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got the Red Pyramid right next door, which is supposedly newer, but didn't hold up as well. Going, I don't think this. I think this was designed that way
Hmm.
to So, what else did I have? The under the federal tunnel system in Washington D.C. How it
Mhm.
came about and got expanded. Whatever happened to Bethlehem Steel? They were a major player in the 20th century, and now
Oh,
they're
yeah.
gone. We do have
Oh,
a strong bad video in here, December Ween
oh,
event
yeah.
calendar with the
Yeah.
songs. The Las Vegas map, how Las Vegas got started. Um,
Hmm.
the attempt to create a town that failed, and then the railroad came in and said, "No, we're going to start over here."
Start
Why?
over here.
Why? Some of the streets are slanted.
Hey, hey, by the way, that's what happened to my hometown, Rock Hill. It was actually started in one area, then the train came through,
Uh huh.
and then they kinda decided to, "Let's reincorporate over here." So they moved. I'm kind of obviously skipping through a lot of it, but they moved to place, and there was literally a rock hill that was a landmark that people knew that's where they needed to get off for Rock Hill.
Ah, hence the name.
They were very creative.
No.
"Oh, let's call it Rock Hill. I bet that's the best we got. All right."
It's better than pile of rocks.
Yeah, that was the
There's
second choice.
there's another one here. Shocking details revealed of 3 unexplained deaths. I don't think they were really unexplained. They were just really bizarre.
Mm.
Uh, Dan Aykroyd is the host of this, so it was a television show at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And the first one is about like the mayor of the town that would inspect the infrastructure on a regular basis, which included the wastewater treatment. And one day she fell in and drowned
Ooh,
in the
wow, ooh.
wastewater. It was like
That's
gross.
not where you wanna drown.
No,
Yeah,
no. Another one was a
no.
guy who was caving, and this particular cave was very narrow. Most of the time, you're on your belly, you're crawling through very narrow passages, not the way I want to do it. And he got stuck at like an incline, so his head was below his feet, not completely upside down, but angled downward, and he couldn't move. They couldn't pull him out, and after several hours, he suffered a coronary and died. And they
Dang.
said, "You know what? People shouldn't be going in here anyway," so they sealed it up. So there it lies
Right,
until he's completely decayed and his bones fall down the rest of
yeah,
the tunnel. Like,
right,
that's a pretty bad way to go too. So,
right.
lots of other things. I think I should number these, but,
Oh,
what do I
by
got?
the way,
Yeah.
you mentioned, Wham, and,
Yes.
Last Christmas. I was just reading an article about Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas Is You."
Uh-huh.
Do you know each year she makes about 200 and something million off that song?
If you wrote it, you get royalties.
I know. It's actually gone up each year. I think it was 2023. It was 249 million, and it's just gotten more popular. It was up
I'm
from
kinda tired of it. That's probably one of
hey,
my least
well,
favorite.
it was up from 170 or 67 in 2019. Just to show how much has changed, and a lot of that streaming and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't hate the song, but I like the classics myself, the old classics.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
That's it. That's it. Or A Christmas at Ground Zero.
I look at nightgowns for my wife, those black ones trimmed in red, but I don't know her size, and so she gets a carpet sweeper instead.
Hey, break out
The
break
ukulele.
out the ukulele.
Dog Days. Go listen to my Dog Days feed. That's all you got to do. Okay.
That's
Dog
right.
Days at podcasting.com. There. Alrighty. That takes us to the end of the show. We have a Patreon show to record after this. And question of the week for you this time. If you could come up with a new holiday tradition using the latest and greatest tech, what would it be and how would it work?
I would just use Zoom calls for parties.
I would say, Chad GPT, make me a Christmas list.
Right.
For
Make me a,
maybe tell me what I should buy for my kids.
yeah. Examine my documents and tell me who's on the naughty and nice list.
Ho, ho, ho. All right, there's something for you to come up with since we're still in the holiday season. Next time we come back, Yeah, it's still holidays. You last all year round. We won't be.
Well, we
asking-
won't be talking to you before the new year. So everybody have a happy new year, happy holidays. And
Yes.
we'll look forward to you talking to you next time.
Next time I
year.
talk to you, I'll have 2 shoes on instead of 1 shoe and 1 boot.
Hey, now we're trying to do a couple of things for next year to celebrate our 20th anniversary, which is in May
Hey, first.
1st. So stay subscribed and stick around and we'll have a little fun.
All right. Lisa says, it's me. Merry Christmas, gents. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
And we are out of here. Like I said, we got a Patreon show to record. Oop, that's the that one. Phew, almost played the short one for the short show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on the listener line. Put it on the thing.
I'm getting there.
Which
I
brings
was
the
right
advent
there.
calendar total up to ding.
Ding.
Oh, I bumped the shotgun mic right out of the sky.
You look like one of those bloopers where the sound guy's letting
Whoa.
the microphone
Right.
come down.
Kind of ruined the whole movie right there. 707-530-2428. That's 707-530-chat if you want a mnemonic. Or you can email us like Kyle did, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd
And
love
Tom.
to hear from you. And
And
Tom.
Post. Yeah.
And Tom. That's right. Until next time, tell a friend about Technorama. Share them in 2025 and ask where they've been for the last 20 years. Till then, give us a binary high five, Craig.
All right. Happy New Year. 101.
I got to fix this microphone.
Yeah.
There. Wow, I really whacked that good. Okay, it's right there at the tip
There
of
you
my
go.
finger. Okay, close enough. I haven't used that in a while anyway. Thank goodness. You want to hear what it sounds like with the shotgun on?
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
Here, we'll turn shotgun on. I haven't tuned it in a while.
Whoa.
Yeah,
it's a little-
it's a little hello.
It's sensitive for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's aimed right in my face too. So I might have it just a little high. Like I say, I haven't tuned it in a while. But anyway, that was fun. Turn that back on. Turn that one off. And now I'm back on the sure. Are you sure? I'm sure. All right, we're going to head out of here and record our next quick show for the patrons. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a wonderful holiday season. We'll see you in 2025.
See you next year.